Hello, and welcome back. I've been looking forward to recording this particular video. It's a topic I really enjoy, and I hope you enjoy it as well. Okay, what I'm looking at today is OpenVAS. OpenVAS is a tool owned by this organization called Greenbond. If you're in IT, if you're in IT security, if you're in cyber security, and you want to ensure that the software, the applications, the hardware that your company works with or your staff, your colleagues work with is secure. One thing you're really going to be interested in is vulnerability management. You should ensure you have some sort of vulnerability assessment tool in-house that you use to assess the vulnerability of the softwares, applications, hardware that you own in the organization. So one of the tools that you can use to do that is the one I have right in front of me called OpenVAS. OpenVAS is the vulnerability assessment tool that you can use to assess the vulnerability of applications, softwares, and hardware. Vulnerabilities are weaknesses and weaknesses in applications in software that can cause a whole lot of havoc if they are exploited. There are quite a couple of options on how you can install it. If you're working on Debian, you can install on preferably an Ubuntu or your Kali. You can install it on any of those. Again, you can install on a hypervisor if you're working on VMware Workstation Player, if you have a VMware ESXi or Hyper-V or even VirtualBox. So if you take a look here, this is OpenVAS installed here. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up so that we can see. But while that opens up, I'll go and show you the topology I'm working with. This is the basic topology I'm working with. So I have my VMware workstation as the hypervisor here. And then they are all residing on the same network, VMnet1. I have a couple of them installed there: Linux Mint, Metasploitable, CyberOps, and OpenVAS. So I'm going to be using these three. I'm going to be using these three to show you how OpenVAS works. All right, so let's go ahead. So when you install OpenVAS, it's going to let you create an admin account that you use on the web. So on the web, you're going to have to install an admin account. So, and it's going to, once after it's done installing, it's going to give you the login URL, which is this. So you can log in on the console with the default login credentials, which is admin, and the password is also admin. So here it shows that you're in. But to log in on the web, you take the web login credentials and go ahead and log in. So let me click on that, and that is it. So during installation, it's going to ask you to put in the credentials for the web user interface. So I've already created mine and I'll enter it shortly. So I've used the most secure password in the world of admin123. If you don't mind me, that's not secure at all. So I'll click on sign in and I'm in. So once this is the console on the left hand side and this is the web UI. So while this, let me go and start up a few more VMs while we wait for this to get ready in the back. All right, so take a look. The VM I'm going to be using today is my Linux Mint, and I'll also be making use of the CyberOps. All right, so while those two kickstart, I'll go ahead and show you the very first thing you should do once you've finished installing GVM is to ensure that your feeds are updated. So what are feeds? I'll show you quickly. Now that you've logged into the web UI, to access your feeds, you go to feed status to check if all your feeds are up to date. So here are the feeds. If it says current, that means all your feeds are up to date. So what are feeds? So first of all, I'll start from NVT. So those are network vulnerability tests. So they are network vulnerability tests tied to a particular appliance or tied to a particular network, software. So these are feeds from various places. You're going to have a number of them, and security advisories, Ubuntu, there are vulnerabilities tied to a particular platform. So they are going to install those feeds for you. Next one is CVEs. CVEs are common vulnerabilities and exposures. So they are vulnerabilities that have been, announced, or vulnerabilities that have already been, identified and uploaded. So these are CVEs. So they are also tied to specific softwares, applications, and all of that. You're going to see their base core and all of that here, how they are, how they access a system, and yeah, all that information, and you're going to see the description of each CVE. Yeah, these are really important. You have to ensure that all of them, and also these are common platform enumerations. They are also tied to specific platforms. So you see things from uh, Microsoft, you see things from Linux, you see things from various sources on this in this area. So, and also it's going to download some set-born advisories, some compliance advisories, port lists. All that information is going to be downloaded so that your scans can give you the ideal and perfect results that you should use in your environment. So if these feeds are not updated, it's going to say something like 50 days old, 20 days old, that depending on when last your feeds were updated. If you want to update this feed and you're running an appliance like myself, what you can do is come to your appliance, login. Once you are logged in, that means you've entered your admin and your password. It's going to bring you to, after running the self-check, it's going to bring you to a specific part uh, of the appliance where you can update your feed. So that is what we are waiting for currently. So this should, if you have enough resources on your laptop, it shouldn't take a lot of time. So once you're here, go to maintenance and come to feed, and then you click on update, and it will start the feed in the background. It will start updating the feed in the background. So that is it. So while we just, allow that to update, although it's current, so it's not going to update anything, I'm going to log into my Linux Mint. So the password, what is the password again? Okay. Then I'm going to log into my cyber ops as well. Okay, so I'm logged into both of them. Now, the next thing on OpenVAS is adding a target. So a target is a device that you want to scan, or a group of devices that you would like to scan. So to add a target, you come to configuration and you go to targets. So once you're in targets, you can click on this icon here, new target, and add a target. So if I wanted to add the cyber ops, I've already added the Linux Mint. I have a Metasploitable that I've added and scanned as well. And I have my VMware that I have also added. To add a target, once you've clicked on add new target, you put in the name of the target. So let's do the cyber ops. Cyber ops VM, then manual. If you want to add just the IP address, if you want to add from a file, you can copy a file like a CSV file and then import it here and load all your targets, all your equipments, your appliances, their IP addresses. You can load it from a file. Next one is manual. So I'm going to add it manually. So I'm going to go find the IP address of my cyber ops workstation. So I'm going to go to terminal. Let me quickly find the. So currently the IP address. Okay, it's just giving me. Okay, let me do this. Just to ensure that I'm looking at the right thing. Okay, it has the localhost IP address, meaning it's not connected to the network at the moment. So I'll just go to the Linux Mint and try adding that one. So if I go to Linux Mint and go to terminal, go to IP address. So I have on my network, I have 192.168.244.133. So I can just go there and add it 192.168.244.133. So I've added it. I'll just change the name to Linux Mint 2, since I have one already. So, and I'll just click save. Okay, sorry, I made a mistake here. Now just click save. And it's been added here. So the purpose of adding a host or a group of hosts is so that you can use them for a scan. Now, if you want to perform a scan, you can just go to scans and click on task. Once you're in this scans window, you click on new task. Then it's going to ask you to name the task. So for instance, I want to scan the Linux Mint. I'll just say Linux Mint scan. I'll do, if I want to add a comment, I'll add a comment. Targets, you can now select your target. So this is the target that we just added. You can select that. And then you can make some changes here depending on, what type of scan you want to do. So you have OpenVAS scanner, you have the CVE is going to scan by CVEs, although the OpenVAS default scan scans by CVEs as well. You can do your scan config, whether it's fast and full, if you want a very intrusive scan. Now it depends on if this particular appliance is on operation. If the target is on operation, you might not want to do an intrusive scan, and you may want to schedule your scans towards end of production time or towards the weekend so that you don't obstruct a lot of service, because it's going to be bombarding that particular appliance or that particular service with a lot of requests just to identify its vulnerabilities. Again, it is preferable to deploy OpenVAS within your firewall, not outside your firewall. Because if you deploy it outside your firewall, you're going to need to open ports, a lot of ports in your firewall, just to allow the traffic from OpenVAS and between OpenVAS and the target application. So each time you're going to be opening multiple ports. So it's preferable to deploy it within your firewall. If you have two different if you have a cloud infrastructure and you have infrastructure on site, you might want to deploy one in the on-site location and then another one in the cloud, so that you don't get to add more vulnerabilities by opening ports in the firewall. So that is my own recommendation. If you feel there's a different way to do it, just let me know. So I'll save this, and then it says that we've saved the scan, but it has not started. To start the scan, you will go here and click on start scan. I'm not going to start the scan because I've already done it before. As you can see, I have it done here. The next thing we're going to be taking a look at is scan reports. So this is a scan I've done a few days back on my Metasploitable. Metasploitable is an intentionally vulnerable machine used for learning and practicing purposes. So here it is. I had done the scan a little while back. So I'm just going to take a look at the scan reports to show you what OpenVAS can identify on your network. Okay, looking at the scan reports, you can see, you can see the severity of this scan report. It says 10.0 high, meaning that you should really take a look at this service, patch, update, and do whatever you need to do. So the vulnerabilities that have been identified as high are 14, medium vulnerabilities are 36, low vulnerabilities are 6, log files 69, false positives 0. I want to take a look at everything. You click here, I think. Yes. So you can click here, it takes you to the report. Then you go to results. Now, these are the results of the scan on the Metasploitable target. So you see, these are applications and softwares that are running on the Metasploitable machine. So you see TikiWiki CMS, that's probably a content management system. It says it's end of life. So probably best to discontinue using such things. Entirely stop using such services. It's not even recommended to continue using such services. Next one is cross-site scripting is a vulnerability on the TikiWiki as well. Operating system, that's the operating system that the Metasploitable is running on. It says it's end of life as well. Let's take a look at that one. So it says it's an Ubuntu 8.04 end of life date since 2013. So this is a huge vulnerability. So if you see things with end of life in your infrastructure, whether it's servers, switches, and things like that, best thing to do is discontinue using them, because when when you're going to get an attack on those services that are end of life, is going to be horrific. Next one, we can see a couple of other ones on Postgres default credentials. It says default credentials are used on the Postgres SQL. So if you take a look, it gives you the version of the Postgres SQL telling you that the vulnerability is that default credentials are being used. So it's going to give you a whole lot of the OWASP vulnerability stack, the OWASP top 10, the OWASP top 10, items. It's going to list all of that out. It's going to list out CPEs, common platform enumeration. Is going to list out CVEs, common vulnerabilities and exposures that have been announced. So all those things is going to list it out here. It's going to give you their base score. It's going to give you the severity of those items. So items with 10 is really bad. 8, 7, even 6 medium are really, really bad if you have those on your in your infrastructure. So 3.7, those you can start considering patching and all of those. But if you see an end of life with 10, not all those things, you really need to discontinue using such services or find an alternative service to those ones. So that's basically it about OpenVAS. It's going to give you the host, IP, ports that were used in the scan, ports that are open, and all of that. It's going to give you the list of applications and that are running. So you have PostgreSQL, you have Samba, you have Apache server, you have OpenBSD, TFTPD, you have the CMS, you have PHP 5. So you see all those services that are running. The operating system is Ubuntu 8.04, common vulnerabilities and exposures that's found. So all those things are here. It's going to give you the base score, the severities, and all of that. It's going to give you a whole lot of information. So let's do one more report. So the next report I have here is the report for the Linux Mint that I've done already. If I click on the report, it brings me to here. This is quite good. You see high 0, medium is 0. We have one low risk. So sorry, okay, that was for to sort it. So if we go here and check out the result, ICMP timestamp reply information disclosure. So the ICMP timestamp, it's saying that there's possible disclosure of information on the ICMP timestamp. That is the ping timestamp. So impact, this could be theoretical. So it's telling you that it could be theoretical. So there are slight chances. There's a chance that this is the type of vulnerability that could not be accessed. So yeah. So this is OpenVAS for you. Thank you for watching, and please do give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a share. Thank you so much.